Another episode in what can only be called the most perplexing endorsement arrangement in recent memory is being watched by the basketball community. Commentators are going for the mute button instead of the replay button as Angel Reese keeps producing highlight reels. Industry insiders are starting to speculate about what could be the most costly error since someone believed the XFL was a wise purchase, especially since her trademark Reebok sneaker is scheduled to debut in 2026. The Chicago Sky and Angel Reese were just dominated by the Washington Mystics. Out there, Sonia Citron was using hot grease to cook. Give the pot a stir. Give the pot a stir. Sonia, keep cooking. What a show. When she faced Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky, she gave it her all. They ruined Angel Reese's homecoming. Boy. Americans as a whole hold their breath when Angel Reese takes the court, and not in a positive way. She has accomplished something genuinely amazing in her sophomore season, shooting 31.5% on layups while making the third highest number of layup attempts in the league. Give that time to marinate. It's a professional. Standing 6 feet 3 inches, the basketball player misses shots that high school JV players make while they sleep. The Chicago Bravado were kicked in the ass once more. Last night, Angel Reese was awful. The game's commentators were giggling at her performance. Take a look at some of the highlights for yourself. You always do this, Casey. You try to convince us that Angel Reese isn't a superstar by highlighting a few poor plays. Since it is mathematically impossible to be thus ineffective at point-blank range, Reese has become an inadvertent comedic show. She missed 4 straight putback attempts in 12 seconds during one particularly famous stretch against the New York Liberty, 2 of which were blocked. For all the wrong reasons, the video became a master tutorial in how to transform a basic basketball play into performance art, and it went viral more quickly than a TikTok dance. Bro, this was a huge disgrace. Keep in mind that he is a professional basketball player. A national championship was won by a professional basketball player. The fact that she defeated Caitlin Clark is their defining characteristic. Keep it in mind. Take a look. What about another ST? Guys, are you serious? She has an impressive field goal percentage of 44 overall. 4% this season, which seems remarkable until you consider that she makes the majority of her shoots from just under the hoop. In contrast, layup conversion rates for professional basketball players are usually close to 70 to 80%. Somehow, Ree has been able to make the most basic basketball shot into a coin toss. Rotate. Ree the Angel. Face up. Huh? Well, let's get started. Oh, pause. Prepare. Transition. Oh no. Oh, but we got our own rebound after crossing over to the rack. Lovely. We grabbed an offensive rebound of our own. Once more, here we go. There is a small amount of journey activity. We missed another, too. Don't worry, though. We managed to collect our second rebound. Let me quickly adjust my posture. Talk my ish. You are unable to protect me. You are unable to protect me. Let's go, Angel Reese. The response from those who are hired to make every play sound exciting is the clearest sign of how troublesome Reese's shooting has been. Commentators for the NBA and WNBA are skilled experts who can make a standard free throw sound like the shot that's heard all across the world. When Angel Reese, however, these same commentators are having trouble staying calm as the basket gets closer. She won her spot on the All-Star team in June with her outstanding achievements. However, these are more than a few poor plays. Bloopers aren't what these are. These are not isolated incidents. This is typical. The same thing occurred last week when the Minnesota Lynxers kicked the Chicago Bravado in the ass. You don't need my persuasion that Angel Reese has no bearing on victory. Take a peek at her. Document. Check out her WNBA resume. Subscribe if you're enjoying it. One commentator was heard laughing loudly on the air during a recent game after seeing yet another bizarre mistake on what should have been a simple layup. The unexpected miss doesn't come with this kind of mild teasing. This is the sound of confusion and professional disappointment. You've passed a boundary that most athletes never even come close to when those whose job it is to promote the thrill of the game begin to laugh at your attempts to play it. These moments' tendency to go viral has given rise to an entire social media content cottage industry. Millions of people have seen compilation movies of her missed layups, with admirers highlighting the dramatic quality of each miss with slow motion effects and circus music. Viral celebrity like this doesn't increase shoe sales. It is the type of thing that causes marketing professionals to reevaluate their life decisions. So far, Inside in Washington has done it extraordinarily effectively. The first one was missed by Reese. It is still banned. We experience an all-star. Back. There were 9 turnovers. Due of a back injury, we sit out. We return. Unable to make a layup that is essentially sound. Perhaps they hurried you back from your wounds. Did you hurry her recovery from her injury, Tyler Marsh? My eyes are on you, Tyler Marsh. The Chicago Sky's remarkable failure to win basketball games magnifies Angel Reese's troubles, even though individual performance issues may be disregarded if they happened on a successful team. The Sky, who are currently at 721, have combined Reese's shooting difficulties with an overall team play that would be embarrassing for a leisure league. The team is currently on a losing skid of 8 games. The fact that they have lost all 5 games without Reese because of her recent back issue is perhaps the most telling. This leads to an intriguing conundrum. Despite her inability to win, the team somehow became much worse without her. It's similar to witnessing someone standing in a burning house and whining about a malfunctioning air conditioner. It appears like Angel Reese wins 1 game out of every 3, albeit I'm not very good at math. Break. We arrive as far as I can recall. This season, Angel Reese has defeated a squad that has a winning record. Tell me, then, how Angel Reese affects victory. Despite his best efforts to portray the situation in a positive light, Coach Tyler Marsh has been unable to cover up the underlying problem. The player who consistently contributes content for blooper reels is the cornerstone of the Sky's identity. Your hopes of winning a title tend to change when your best player's most memorable moments feature missed shots that would test the skills of a middle school student wearing a blindfold. The choice by Reebok to create Angel Reese, the face of their comeback in basketball. Under Shaquille O'Neal's direction, the firm signed Reese as their first big basketball player and promised to release her trademark shoe in 2026. This appeared to be a fair risk on paper. Although the player is young, has a big social media following, and has room to improve, reality has a way of making paper plans look like origami failures. Todd Krinsky, the CEO of Reebok, has openly likened Reese to great athletes like Allen Iverson and Shaquille O'Neal, implying that she possesses the same capacity to transform culture. The analogy turns into something more terrible than inspiring when you take into account that Iverson and O'Neal were, skilled basketball players. Industry watchers are starting to wonder if Reebok really knew what they were getting into. You're not just buying an athlete's current performance when you sign them to represent your brand. You're placing a wager on their course. When it comes to Reese, that trajectory seems to be a straight line toward the bottom of the rim, followed by an unavoidable bounce into the posture that I like. I won't follow those who are merely acquaintances rather than friends. Am I right? Reese's current back ailment, which has kept her out of several games, has been perhaps the most forgiving development in this ongoing basketball tragedy. Reese's absence has offered a little break from the weekly highlight reel of basic basketball mistakes, even though injuries are never something to rejoice about. For all parties involved, the injury has come at a particularly fortunate time. It happened at a time when social media was at its most saturated with viral footage of her missed layups, allowing the basketball community to move over the agony of witnessing a professional athlete struggle with shots that most fans could create. The marketing team at Reebok has been given time to figure out how to market shoes that are connected to someone whose most memorable moments involve failing to make shots. Even more telling is the fact that the injury occurred during a game against the Indiana Fever, who are coached by Caitlin Clark, Reese's college rival who has successfully transitioned from collegiate to professional success. Viewers were spared what might have been the most unfair individual matchup since David and Goliath because of the absence. Goliath would have received a basketball if David had been blinded. She played well, 22. She had 13 rebounds and 13 points, but her shooting was awful. She received numerous bailouts. I'm getting phantom foul calls from the referees and throwing up brick layups. It's excellent that she made 10 out of 11 free throws. 6 of 16 from the floor is really bad. 1 out of 3. She had a -11. Listen, man, she lost to Kiki Area today. The Angel Reese case is an intriguing case study from a business standpoint of how contemporary endorsements by athletes can go horribly wrong. Reebok has spent a lot of money on a player whose on-court exploits subvert the whole idea of sports endorsements, which is that achievement inspires ambition. Because consumers aspire to be like successful athletes, traditional endorsement deals are successful. Because they aspire to be like Michael Jordan, they purchase his shoes. They want to channel championship enthusiasm, which is why they buy LeBron James apparel. What is the Angel Reese shoe marketing pitch exactly? I miss your favorite layups. Are you a professional basketball player? The business has made an effort to shift its focus to Reese's persona and social media presence, highlighting her unrepentant demeanor and cultural impact. This strategy might be effective for lifestyle firms, but it gets difficult if your primary product is basketball performance gear. Since the signature player constantly shows that basketball fundamentals are ostensibly optional, it's challenging to sell the concept that wearing these sneakers will improve your game. Fantastic Ideas hopes to attract talent to expand Reebok, and wants people to wear it again because nobody does. Thus, this was one of his brilliant choices. Angel Reese, I'm signing her. If you're unfamiliar with her, she is the queen of fish out of water, chasing a rebound that she shot herself and will never be able to get in the net. She reminds me of a 3-year-old who throws the ball and misses the mark entirely when shooting on those tiny children's nets. If Angel Reese had a supporting cast to make up for her shortcomings, her troubles might be easier to overlook. Rather, the Chicago Sky have put together a roster that appears to be intended to draw attention to her shortcomings rather than to cover them up. Reese's already dubious shot selection becomes much more troublesome when the squad is unable to generate simple scoring opportunities. This basketball soap opera is further complicated by the coaching situation. In his first season as head coach, Tyler Marsh faces the difficult challenge of attempting to construct a winning system around a player whose most dependable ability seems to be creating material for social media. Similar to being given a square-wheeled sports car and ordered to win the Indianapolis 500. Perhaps most revealingly, despite their ongoing losses, the team's offensive efficiency has increased in certain metrics throughout Reese's injury absences. This implies that even while she contributes numerically in the form of rebounds, her presence may actually detract from the team's overall basketball performance. This type of statistical conundrum causes general managers to update their resume and coaches to seek for antacids. Tyler Marsh is on lock with this point-forward thing. Tyler Marsh has this point-forward Angel Reese thing locked up. It appears that Elizabeth Williams will be the recipient. And oh God. One could argue that, in the current social media environment, Angel Reese's failings have actually made her more visible than her traditional success would have. Millions of views are produced by her missed layups. Her dubious choices quickly turn into memes, and her general basketball bafflement gives sports commentators a ton of material. As a result, a twisted incentive system is created where athletes' incompetence turns into a kind of amusement. Ree is now the equivalent of a reality TV star in basketball, renowned for being renowned, independent of true ability or accomplishment. This is an intriguing but dangerous idea for a business like Reebok. Do you place a wager on someone who attracts attention, even if it's mostly unfavorable? The problem is that failure-based viral fame typically has a short lifespan. Audiences eventually move on to the next unintended comic source, abandoning endorsement agreements and branded goods that no one wishes to be associated with. It's the distinction between being worth remembering and being memorable. Put an end to it. On TikTok, there's this guy who makes me laugh. He has assembled a number of Angel Reese films, and when it says Angel Reese Part 36, it shows Angel Reese attempting another layup. She fails. Boom. And it's the funniest, I swear, buddy. And guy, this is my whole thing. She simply appears to be as clumsy as a newborn giraffe. Come on, man, I mean it. Tension is evident as the anticipated 2026 release of Angel Reese's iconic shoe draws near. Reebok has already made significant investments in the marketing campaign, released sneak peeks, and created excitement for what they believe will be a moment that defines their culture. The issue is that culture defines itself, and the culture surrounding Angel Reese has come to represent confusion in basketball. Industry insiders are starting to discuss possible modifications to the launch plan. According to some, Reebok may switch from making performance shoes to leisure shoes. basketball model admitting that the relationship between Ree and basketball brilliance is, at most, shaky. Others ponder whether the debut should be postponed indefinitely in the hopes that time will somehow mend the damage caused by innumerable viral low-light clips. The most gloomy analysts speculate that Reebok may be searching for a completely different exit option. Even while the corporation has made a public commitment to the collaboration, it is eventually impossible to ignore the commercial realities of linking your name to persistent athletic failure. Even the most patient investors eventually begin to raise awkward queries regarding return on investment. There has never been anything like the Angel Ree phenomena in contemporary sports marketing. A famous athlete whose characteristic move has stopped making automatic shots. When performance does not meet advertising, Reebok's bet on her potential has become a prime example of how sports sponsorships may boomerang. Her so horrible that when her and Caitlin Clark were going to fight the other week, ticket sales dropped from $100 to about $5 because Caitlin Clark was hurt. She wasn't playing because of a quad ailment. Guess what then? No one was interested in watching. For those who are unfamiliar with Caitlin Clark, she is the WNBA GOAT and the main attraction. You're not being watched, Angel Reese. Nobody is observing you. All of the TikTok videos of you repeatedly missing every shot you take are the only things I want to watch. The concerns for Reebok get more pressing as the Chicago Sky continue their decline into basketball obscurity, and Ree continues to offer inadvertent comic relief. How can you market failure-related shoes? When a performance isn't doing well, how do you market it? When a person's primary contribution is content for blooper compilations, how do you develop a brand around them? The 2026 launch date is rapidly approaching, and we get closer to what could be the most embarrassing shoe launch in sports history with each missed layup, every viral basketball blunder, and every defeat in the ongoing catastrophe of the Chicago Skies. If Angel Ree is unable to change her game in a single day, furthermore, considering her past performance, that seems as likely as her making her next wide-open layup. As a result, Reebok may find itself in the awkward position of endorsing a product that no one wants to be associated with success. The Angel Ree experiment may ultimately serve as a warning against sports endorsements in the era of social media. The individual who creates the most buzz is occasionally humming for the wrong reasons. Furthermore, no amount of marketing magic can turn a real athletic deficit into a profitable venture. Now, the query isn't whether Reebok is going to reevaluate their investment. The most costly joke in basketball is whether they will do it before or after the launch.